The smell of freshly brewed coffee lingered in the air of the bustling downtown diner, just past the morning rush. Emily tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear and glanced at the small notepad in her hand. Table 2, coffee refill. Table 7, waiting on pancakes. Table 4, new customer. Her stomach tightened as her eyes drifted to table 6. There he was. Her ex-fiancé, Jared. The man who left her 8 months ago without warning. Today, he was smiling, sitting comfortably across from a woman with striking red lipstick and designer sunglasses perched on her head. Emily froze for a moment. Of all the diners in town, why this one? Why today? She took a deep breath and forced herself forward. Professionalism came before pain. Morning, she said, her voice even as she placed a glass of water down in front of them. Jared barely acknowledged her. His new girlfriend smiled condescendingly. Can I get a gluten-free menu, sweetheart? Emily nodded. Of course. She turned away quickly, trying to ignore the lump rising in her throat. As she reached the counter, her manager, Ruth, noticed her pale face. You okay? Ruth asked softly. Emily mustered a shaky smile. Just tired. She moved on to table 4. Hi there, I'm Emily. What can I get started for you today? She said, her tone slipping back into polite warmth. The man at table 4 looked up and smiled gently. He looked like he was in his mid-30s, with kind brown eyes and a 5 o'clock shadow. A little boy, maybe 5 years old, sat beside him, swinging his legs. We'll start with 2 hot chocolates, the man said. And maybe, a smile if you can spare one. Emily blinked, caught off guard. Sorry, he added quickly, laughing nervously. Long day. She sighed, chuckled lightly. You have no idea. Name's Ben, he offered. This is Max. Max gave her a shy wave. Emily waved back. Something about their presence grounded her. She poured their drinks and busied herself with other tables. But her eyes kept drifting to Jared and his new love. The woman laughed, loudly and often, touching Jared's hand like they were the center of the universe. Emily could feel the sting of old memories clawing at her, but she refused to let it break her. Back at table 4, Max had taken a napkin and crayon from the cup on the table and started drawing. He kept glancing at Emily while he scribbled. After a few minutes, he whispered something to his dad. Ben looked up at Emily and smiled. When she returned with their sandwiches, Max pushed the napkin toward her. For you, he said shyly. Emily picked it up. It was a big, crooked heart, colored in with red crayon. Inside it, he had drawn a stick figure that looked like her, with a smiley face, and the words, "You're a good person." She stared at the paper. Something in her chest cracked. Ben spoke softly. Max said you looked like someone who needed a reminder. Emily's eyes watered. She knelt beside the table, still holding the drawing. Thank you, Max. This means more than you know. He grinned and took a bite of his sandwich, like it was the most normal thing in the world. As the afternoon wore on, Emily kept the drawing tucked safely in her apron pocket. It was a lifeline, a whisper from the universe that not all love is loud and showy. Some of it is quiet, drawn in crayon by a child who barely knows you. Then it happened. Jared called her over with a snap of his fingers. We've been waiting forever for the check, his girlfriend complained. Emily walked over with practiced calm. Here you go, she said, placing the bill down. Jared leaned back smugly. Still working here, huh? Thought you'd be married with kids by now. His words hit like a slap. Before she could respond, a voice interrupted. She's doing just fine. It was Ben. He had stood up and walked over to the table, holding Max's hand. Jared looked up, confused. Ben continued, his tone calm but firm. She's strong, kind, and probably the most graceful person in this room. You don't get to belittle her. The room went silent. Emily looked at Ben, eyes wide. Jared scoffed and turned away. Whatever. Ben turned to Emily and handed her another folded napkin. She opened it. Another heart. This time, drawn neatly by Ben. Inside it, he had written, "Some people see your worth. Don't forget that." She bit her lip, holding back tears. When Ben and Max finished their meal, he left a generous tip and a note scribbled on the receipt: "If you ever need a reminder of how wonderful you are, Table 4 is always cheering for you." That night, Emily walked home slowly, the city lights twinkling above her. She sat on the edge of her bed and pulled the 2 napkin hearts from her pocket. Her heart felt light for the first time in months. It wasn't about romantic validation. It wasn't about being chosen. It was about being seen. By a child. By a stranger. By someone who reminded her that kindness, no matter how small, can be life-changing. She taped the napkins above her dresser. And beside them, she wrote in cursive: "Today I served pain with grace, and received hope in return." Kindness doesn't always come from those you expect. Sometimes it arrives quietly, through a child's drawing or a stranger's words. If you've ever been in Emily's shoes, know this: you are not invisible. You matter. And somewhere, someone sees the goodness in you.